Well, now there then. Hello, everyone. It's been a long time. Good to see you. I was going to do this live, but as I said once before, I'm not a very good multitasker. So, without any further ado, we shall let the festivities begin. There now. Well, how is everyone? It's been a long time, and we're certainly glad to be back here at King Billy's Haberdashery, and of course it's adjacent with with something that I can't remember, probably because I'm trying to think too hard with the OCD, of course, as the usual situation. So we have a few things to discuss. A few things that will tickle your fancy, as they say. We don't want to get too naughty here at the den, so to speak. So we'll try to keep a good measure of what needs to be, as it were, and as they say. So I think I'm looking at the layout here. I think we're pretty well set to go. We're just sort of improvising here once again, and this should be a good situation for this evening or this morning or this afternoon. So we'll be moving along very shortly, my brothers and sisters. Well, now, I found something that's rather interesting to share, so I think we'll do that now. Isn't that right, Erastus? Very good. And pretty soon, I believe Chef Carmichael Stoningham will be joining us. Of course, he may be already here in our midst, so we will keep you posted on that momentarily. I have here King Henry VIII soap. And I'm trying to get the right focus in full tune. I mustn't forget that. Always must be in full tune. So this, I don't know what hotel this came from, but I don't think I was the one who retrieved it. But let's see if we can get a better image here. The Henry VIII Hotel. And there's no indication upon where that came from where and whence it came. So it's a very good mystery to us all. So, perhaps in the future we'll investigate the origins of the King Henry VIII soapbox, as it were. Now then, we shall now begin, and once again, welcome once again to the festivities here at King Cole's Castle and King Billy's Haberdashery. And it's been very hard times in jolly old England these days, but of course that goes without saying. And from the mountain I came, with my packs on my back and my sticks in my satchel. Lo, the four winds, came 17 horses down the aisle. 17 horses came down the line. So we have to work on increasing the number for the future races in Galway, Ireland. The vernal equinox is certainly upon us. It's been upon us for some time, but we certainly don't recognize that from the weather these days, do we? I think finally we're entering into spring, so we're all happy to see that, and maybe we can go outside a little more often these days. So hopefully that all works out and we'll all be in full tune. And there is a presentation coming up of the Barber of Seville. And it will be a very hearty production, and it will involve some folks from Whitmore Lake, Michigan, as a matter of fact. The Barber of Seville will be presented dumpster side. And the location, of course, will continue to remain a mystery until we gather up the proper details and we will broadcast them in full tune. Now then, Fatty Arbuckle comes to mind because we have the Fatty Roscoe Arbuckle, or Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle. Have I not had a few ales? Well, anyway, Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle will be presented in the midst of a film fest, shall we say. And that should be entertaining. We'll be doing that at the Oddfellows Hall Annex in Hamburg, Michigan, I do believe. So that's being set up as we speak. And I think Leotard Davis is involved in that. Isn't that right, Erastus? Our cameraman over there. He knows a little bit more than I from time to time. And we have to take better notes here in the cellars of Smithsonian and Babylonian, as it were. And we'll try to definitely do a much better job as time marches forward. Now then, we have the Nakers and Nushran convention happening soon, and that's going to be, I believe, in the hearty month of July. Let me try that again. I sound a little bit like Foster Brooks. The hearty month of July. That was a little bit better. What in the world? I only had a couple ales and already I'm talking like this. Well, I'm not bragging or anything, but time marches on as well as age. So that's what we get, my brothers and sisters. Now then, molasses. One must pour blackstrap molasses. As a matter of fact, I think I will demonstrate something that, well, let's put it this way. I can't get the lid off, so I'll be right back. Please bear with me, my friends. Now then, somebody told me many moons ago that this particular situation was good for hemorrhoids. Now, if you can't get the top off because it's welded on by the molasses itself, then it's kind of hard to use, but we won't go into too much detail about that. This is a family show, of course, and we don't know whose youngsters may be watching for a laugh or two, for a bit of inspiration, as it were. So yes, blackstrap molasses was purchased from the former VG's Food Center in the lower high streets of Brighton, Michigan. Now it's turned into bushes, and I just don't know where anything is in the store, and you have to pay a little bit more than 6 pence to shop there, shall we say. So blackstrap molasses from the House of Herbs. And if I could get the top off, maybe I could drink a little bit, but I don't really have the hankering for blackstrap molasses at this particular juncture. So, we'll move right along here very shortly. Now then, 17 horses came down the line. I must rehearse from time to time. Not that that's a line from the Barber of Seville, mind you. Or the Demon Barber of Seville, as some may say. But at any rate, once again, we're getting ready for the Fatty Arbuckle Film Fest. And that should be a hearty presentation, as it were. To say the very least, since it's a rather old situation. At any rate, one's parfum, I say, was left behind at the local Salvation Army. And for those of you who are looking for thrifty bottles of parfum, as it were, you might find, for instance, if you purchase something from the late 1970s. Now, I saw something that I had in 1979, and as a matter of fact, it was my first cologne. I thought that that the ladies might be impressed in my 7th grade year. And it was in the form of a gas pump. Not a real gas pump, mind you, but a decanter with parfum. Actually, it was men's cologne. I wouldn't be wearing parfum. But it was light musk. And I encountered the very exact thing at the Salvation Army recently, and it had that typical stale parfum smell. And it wasn't at all as I recall. So, in fact, I just made a rhyme. How's that? Well, no. But anyway, we won't want to buy that at this particular juncture. It was 1979 vintage, and hey, if we're not careful, it may smell like an actual gas pump. So anyway, that's what happens to parfum after many, many a decade, and we live and learn every day, don't we, brothers and sisters? Absolutely. So we have that to check off the list, and I hear tell that some folks down in the cellar. Now, we have a large building here at King Cole's Pub, and somebody declared not too long ago that they wanted to dance with the bald-headed end of a broom. I think they've been listening to Cab Calloway in the foundation of my house, but we'll have to address that here very soon. A bald-headed end of a broom, says I. That's one heck of a thing, isn't it? Now then, we must forge ahead and soldier on. For my old man was a fireman bold, for he puts out fires. My brother Bill was a fireman bold, for he puts out fires. Just a bit of a refreshment, not too much, of course. We don't want to be foolish and engage in drunkenness, but just a little, I don't know, Saturday El Hoxus, as somebody I used to know would call it, in a German beer stein, no less. So that's always a nice, flashy situation that we share here at the festivities. And the shoeberry vine comes to mind, and one of our neighbors here at the situation rode their bicycle into the shoeberry vine, and I don't know, there was some connection with Limburger cheese at that particular point. We don't know exactly what it was, but one of the neighbor kids rode their bicycle into the shoeberry vine and came out smelling like Limburger cheese, so we don't quite know what happened. The parents down the street were a wee bit concerned, and many of us from the dumpster diving convention, we concurred that somebody had Limburger cheese in the shrubbery, and they went head first into the Limburger cheese and to the shoeberry vine. Or is it the shoe cat vine? I'm not sure. I think we'll have to investigate that. So it's a very strange a blooming situation around these parts here in our fair town of Whitmore Lake, Michigan, where this is coming to you live from King Cole's Pub here on this Saturday. And we certainly hope that you all make a note of that, of course. And once again, I want to dance with the bald-headed end of a broom. Now then, ding-dong letters are the small they peat, and me duds were covered in soot and ashes. So I just thought I would make that clear. Now, we were going to have an art ceremony this evening, and I seem to have misplaced my paintbrush and the towel that I was going to wear over my shoulders. So perhaps a primitive version of Head and Shoulders comes to mind. But we're going to have to work on that, because I don't think we have all the props, do we, Erastus? Well, maybe Carmichael Stoningham. Maybe he's cooking up the traditional pizza that we're going to have every Thursday here at King Cole's Pub. We're heavily inspired by our local convalescence center, who also has, we won't mention any names, of course, but we have the Thursday pizza situation at that particular structure. And we can be inspired from time to time. We might do it just a little bit different here at the tavern, but nevertheless, we'll keep it as it should be, shall we say? And otherwise, we're going to walk away sounding like one hand clapping, and we don't want any of that now, do we? So, me hammer, me alls, and me pinchers. By the way, I carry them all on me back. And one of the things that was brought up at the last meeting was that Tulinol was used to mop the floor. Now, in that particular case, you see, it smells like kerosene if we don't have the proper wash and walk that can be ordered from many a janitorial company. But Tulinol, I don't think so. I don't think that will do. You understand me? That's like mopping the floor with kerosene. In fact, there was a gentleman that I once knew by the name of Bob Stanchina, and he worked with me at Builders Square back in the early 1990s. And he once declared in the form of let me try that again. He must... Now, wait a minute here. Let me fix this real quick. Respectfully so, of course. There now. Now, Bob Stanchina once declared that, in fact, in the form of Sam Drucker, said he, it went something like this: "It smells like kerosene back here." So I thought I would just share that with you. And they don't call me Mr. Knucklebust for nothing. Now then, we must move along, and we must be mindful of the Tulinol, so we don't mistakenly take a Sharpie marker and draw a skull and crossbones on the side of the plastic container that harbors the Tulinol. Perhaps it's tool oil. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was many moons ago. And evidently, in the back hallway of the administrative offices, it smelled a wee bit like kerosene. You understand me? Now, Bill Ludwig once ate a donut over the garbage can in that same room where the Tulinol was shared, you see. And an Otis Spunkmeyer muffin could not change the situation at that particular juncture, you see. We always must be mindful of the Otis Spunkmeyer muffin. Let me try that again. The Otis Spunkmeyer muffin. The Otis Spunkmeyer muffin was often viewed in what they used to call the Wheel of Death, which is, I guess it was the vending machine. Yes, it was the vending machine at the Novi Builders Square. The Wheel of Death, they used to call it. And in most businesses, to this day, they have a Wheel of Death to get their snacks out of. I don't know if they still call it that. That's obviously rather sinister and gruesome. So we don't want to get too carried away repeating that. So we won't say that again. But I have some fine print here. I don't know if I can see it the way that I should, but we're gonna try to figure out what it is, my friends, and maybe we can make some kind of sense out of it. You understand? So let's see what we got here, and maybe we can figure this out here together. Now then, I have chicken scratch here, as you can see, or maybe you can't see it. I'm not sure, but we're going to try to make some sense out of this fine print. I don't think it's anything important, but we want to just kind of scope it out just for the heck of it. And I think we've covered everything, actually. I think it looks that way at this particular juncture. So I think at this particular point, we're going to take a little intermission. And just in case I haven't mentioned it, We're sponsored this evening once again by Leotard Davis, who is the floor walker, the new floor walker, as a matter of fact, at Grace Brothers Department Store in London, England. So we have to be mindful of that, and we're gonna get an update pretty soon. Is that right, Erastus, on the dumpster diving? Yes. Okay. I think we're gonna. How are you doing on that, by the way? Are we all set with the schedule? Very good. Okay, we'll keep everybody updated as soon as you get your act together over there. So we got dumpster diving details coming up here real soon, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the latest find was a canasta set that has never been opened. So for those of you who play cards, be mindful of that. So we'll have messages from sponsors, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, my friends. I think that took care of that. So for those of you who didn't see the commercial, I think we're still, we don't want to air it to too many people because it's not done yet. So we're going to try to work on that for next time, and we might have a couple of skits for you at that particular juncture. So please stay tuned for that. And I think that'll be a pretty good show when the time comes. So once again, I want to let you know that we have the King Henry VIII soap bars here at the King Cole's Pub, and we're going to try to stock up on this stuff. I think it's going to be something that we're going to need here for a lot of our overnight guests. So at any given time, they can use the King Henry VIII soap. So we want to make sure that that's all prepared for everyone, and that way we can make a go of it. So yeah, we'll keep that going. And if you got any suggestions, please call our 1-800 number and do let us know. So I think we're all set for this particular round of announcements and so forth. But hey, it's good to see everybody again. I was going to try to do this live, but like I said before, I'm not a very good multitasker, so we didn't go live this time. We edited a few things, and we doctored a few things. And hey, I'm old school. What can I say? We do things the old-fashioned way here, and we want to get it right. So I don't know how this is going to come out until I play it back, but hey, I'll play it back with you. We'll all watch it together here. So anyway, happy spring. I think spring is finally here. We got summer right around the corner. And I'm going to look around the table here and see if I forgot anything. I think we're all set for the time being. But I want to thank on a more serious note, I want to thank everybody for all their prayers regarding my mom. She was in rehab for a while after fracturing her hip. And she's home now. She came home on Tuesday last week, and she's recovering nicely, a little bit better every day. And I thank you all for your prayers and your concerns, and it's really appreciated. And she says thank you. I'm going to put a formal announcement up, a formal post and picture on Facebook here pretty soon. And Mother's Day is coming up, so remember your mother. And share the love with your family. And I think things are looking up for most of us. And of course, a lot of you are falling on hard times, and a lot of you have lost loved ones and so forth, and folks aren't doing too well, and we pray for them as well. So we're always here for you. And I also want to plug my music group, the Music Den, Kurt's Music Den. We've been doing it now for a little over 2 years, and we changed the name because it was originally called the Music Den, but there's a lot of other groups I found by the same name, so we changed it to Kurt's Music Den. And you can post in the group now, by the way, if you want to share a few tunes with everybody. Feel free. It'll have to run past me, and I'll just check out what you got to display, and then I'll usually approve it. So I haven't disapproved anything yet. So we don't want the same songs that the radio plays, 10,000 times. That's the main concern. So if you can dig deep, chances are we'll get it on the music den. And I invite everyone to join that's into music. If you haven't already joined, we'd be very glad to welcome you to the festivities. We have 55 members right now that have been with us for quite some time, and we got a lot of great music people involved, and we're very glad to have them on board. We got musicians, we got teachers and DJs and all kinds of folks that have explored music over the last few decades, and we value their expertise and their knowledge, and we all share it together. So we can all share songs together, and sort of like building our own radio station. And the air staff is growing, so if you want to be part of our air staff, please join up. If you've left us, we're kind of wondering why. I know there's some of you that were in the group before, but you're not there anymore for some reason, and we don't want to pressure you, but we kind of wonder why. And some of you are into music, and you've left us anyway, so if it's a mistake, please let me know that you want to come back in, and I'll go ahead and I'll put you back in if it wasn't intentional. I know things get a little funky on the internet sometimes, and they play tricks and they mess with people and take groups and get in the groups and take people out and stuff. I mean, you don't know what's going on anymore sometimes, but if you think you're still in the group, just double check. If you don't already know, and if you're not there anymore, just come on back. Just hit join group, and we'd be glad to have you back. And anybody else that isn't a member of the group, if you'd like to be, just join up. Just click join, and we'll get you in the group, and you can DJ with us. So I just wanted to plug that, and it's a lot of fun, and I appreciate everybody's input. And I think that's about it for the time being. So I think we're going to move along now, and I think we're all set. So I appreciate everybody being here. It took me a long time to get on Facebook, but nevertheless, I'm here now. So thank you all, and until next time, I bid you adieu. God bless, and you have a pleasant weekend. Encores. My brother Bill was a fireman bold, for he puts out fires. My brother Bill was a fireman bold, for he puts out fires. "17 horses coming down the line. Barber of Seville. Yonkatai. Well, never mind. No, I need this, don't I? Yes. Rehearsals for retirement. I just thought we'd have a couple encores here, like they do in concert. They bring the group back to do a couple more numbers. And sometimes it's all spontaneous, like it is now. So that's what we're doing here for the next 30 seconds. And by the way, any input on the Blackstrap Molasses would be greatly appreciated. We don't want to go into detail about why I bought this, but hopefully some of you have forgotten what I said earlier. But anyway, I'm going to get rid of this pretty soon. It can be turned into a candle or something. So anyway, thanks again, everyone, and I'll see you real soon. Okay. Peace and love.